Thank you. Now let's talk to Mana Yegani, who's an immigration lawyer based in Texas. And one of her clients was detained when he returned to the USA yesterday and questioned for several hours. She joins me now via webcam. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, was your client's experience? What happened?
He had a very tumultuous experience. He felt like they treated him like a criminal. He's been living in the United States for over 10 years. He's been a lawful permanent resident, green card holder for approximately 4 years now. And he had made a travel to Iran to visit his father because he had heart surgery. And he was on his way back when Donald Trump signed the executive order.
So was he traveling on an Iranian passport then?
Yes, he had an Iranian passport and also his green card with him.
What's happened to him?
Right now, he's been released yesterday as of 6 p.m. He was released. However, he was at the airport stuck in interrogation for about 2.5 hours. And eventually he was admitted and allowed to enter the United States.
Now, we've had the judges intervening in this, but obviously that's, I'm assuming, is a temporary measure.
Yes, absolutely. That's a temporary freeze or a temporary injunction. We are told that sometime in February there will be a full hearing where the lawyers will be able to present their legal arguments and discuss the constitutional violations that the executive order presents. And at that point, the federal judge will make a ruling to completely disavow this executive order, or in the event that the federal judge does not give a complete ban of the order, it will be filed with a higher level court.
What is needed here? Is it more guidance from the administration as to the people this should relate to?
I think the executive order in itself is a violation of the United States Constitution because it violates the First Amendment right to religion, the Establishment Clause, the Equal Protection Clause, a series of violations on its face, and the contents of it are unconstitutional. I do not think that it will stand, and ultimately it could make its way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. When the executive order was presented, it was so broad and vague that the Customs and Border Patrol officers had no clue how to implement the order. And that's why there was, for many, many hours, utter confusion and fear and anxiety because individuals arriving at airports did not know what was going to happen to them. Would they be going to jail? Would they be sent back to their home countries? And it was just a cascade of events and chaos and people being scared, family members waiting outside the airport, not knowing what was going to happen.
What happens now, though, that there is this order? Are people free to travel? Are they not free to travel? What would your advice be?
At this point, we don't know exactly how long the temporary injunction will be. That's why we are advising our clients who have valid visas already in their passport or who have their green cards to travel as soon as possible and make their way to the United States. If, for example, someone does not have a visa yet, they may not be allowed to go to the U.S. consulate and request a visa. This is only for individuals who have already been cleared, they have a clearance, and they have already been issued either a student visa, a work visa, a visitor visa, because once the visa is issued to them, they have gone through the legal process. And if they have that, we are advising them to travel immediately and make their way back to the United States. As you know, yesterday, there were several people that in Europe, particularly Amsterdam and Frankfurt, the airlines would not board them on the airplanes. So those individuals that were not able to board the planes, we're advising that now they go back, book their flights again, and try to make their second attempt to come back to the United States. The judge essentially has said that anyone who has a valid visa should not be denied and should not be given deportation.
Can a presidential executive order be overturned?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what the Republicans did to President Obama. President Obama had implemented an executive order. Granted, his order was to give immigration benefits, and that was for the parents of children who were here in the United States, the parents who were illegal, but their children were U.S. citizens. And what the Republicans did, they filed an injunction in federal court, and ultimately the Supreme Court had a tie because Justice Scalia had passed away, so it was a 4-4 decision, and the executive action ultimately died out.
Mana Yegani, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.